Now at 5, we're going to meet a Carthage teacher who's giving the ultimate gift to a retired co-worker. Plus, how a Pitt State professor is using a cemetery to teach students about history. And
the Gaza hospital blast fuels protests across the Middle East. I'm Tina Kraus in Tel Aviv with President Biden's high-stakes visit.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
A Carthage junior high educator is teaching more than math to her students this semester. This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Dow Quick. Nicole Renkin is donating her kidney to the district's retired librarian, Betsy McCrary, giving an example of selflessness. But this is not the first time this has happened in the district. 2 years ago, teacher Chelsea Abbott donated her kidney to special ed teacher Jason Worrell.
Just an easy decision. I have 2 healthy kidneys. Betsy needs a healthy kidney, so why would I not just do it?
Just everyday heroes. We think about a hero being this big, like football player or a big basketball player or something like that. But a hero, everyday hero comes with just stepping out of your comfort zone and doing something for someone else.
The Carthage School District hosted a luncheon to commemorate the story and provide financial support to both Nicole and Betsy. Their surgeries will happen on October 31st, and of course we wish them a speedy recovery. Volunteers from Lowell's today helped clean up around a children's crisis center in Joplin. The volunteers cleaned up leaves and built new benches for the Children's Haven. It's part of Lowell's Hometown Community Impact program. Officials say the Children's Haven was chosen because of a family connection.
So we have an employee whose mom works at Lowe's, and she saw it and she nominated us, and there were thousands of grant applications for them, and they narrowed it down to 200, and then they narrowed it down to 100, and so we're just so excited to be a part of that.
The Lowell's Hometowns Community Impact Program has committed $100 million to projects nationwide. Cemeteries impact the community by not only providing a place of rest, but also providing a glimpse into the past. A Pitt State history professor, Dr. Chris Lawson, says cemeteries near campus not only serve the community, but academia as well. She takes her students to Highland Cemetery south of campus and documents the headstones to share online.
We took 130 pictures that were untaken in the past, and 13 of them had been specifically requested by relatives or descendants, and that's rewarding. It's fulfilling to do that.
Some Highland Cemetery graves date back to the mid-1800s. Some clouds have moved in. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy.
Yeah, we've had a really nice day, but we do have a weak cold front that is pushing through the region. That's why we have the clouds, even a few random showers. Still, most of us low to mid 70s, but you can see that wind shift line in southeastern Kansas as this weak front heads toward us. So we've had southerly winds, and then you can see the wind shifting now really from Independence over toward Fort Scott. So with it, as we go through the evening hours, we are seeing a few little light showers across the region. These are very light, not a big deal, but they are shifting off toward the south and to the east. So you can see them from Chanute, Fort Scott, over toward Nevada. But again, fairly light. So a few random showers during the evening hours. Then we drop back into the 50s later on tonight. Of course, we're going to look down the road here in just a bit.
Catch in a few. The House continues to struggle to elect a new Speaker of the House as Republicans are divided about who should lead. In the second round of voting, Jim Jordan lost some support among House Republicans. Jordan says he has no plans to drop out of the race, and he's looking to win over the Republicans who currently do not support him. Jordan says they're going to have a vote until they have a Speaker. Israel says it'll allow limited amounts of humanitarian aid to Palestinian civilians in the besieged Gaza Strip. It's a request from President Biden, who paid a rare wartime visit to the Jewish nation. Tina Kraus reports from Tel Aviv.
President Biden left Israel after paying a wartime visit to the U.S. ally as it fights Hamas in the wake of the Palestinian terror group's brutal attacks.
You can't look at what has happened here to your mothers, your fathers, your grandparents, sons, daughters, children, even babies, and not scream out for justice. Justice must be done.
The president's trip was complicated by a massive explosion Tuesday at a Gaza hospital. Hamas blames an Israeli airstrike, but Israel strongly denies it, releasing videos and other information it claims shows it wasn't behind the deadly blast.
Based on the information we've seen to date, it appears the result of an errant rocket fired by a terrorist group in Gaza.
The hospital blast has further escalated tensions in the region. In Beirut, Lebanese security forces used tear gas and a water cannon on protesters near the U.S. Embassy.
America is the devil, the real devil, because they supported Israel.
During his remarks, President Biden said he would ask Congress for an unprecedented support package for Israel's defense. He also announced $100 million in new U.S. funding for humanitarian assistance in both Gaza and the West Bank.
The vast majority of Palestinians are not Hamas. Hamas does not represent the Palestinian people.
Family members of Israelis kidnapped by Hamas made a plea to President Biden to help get their loved ones back.
My 3 grandchildren and my daughter-in-law are in Gaza. I want them back now.
The president said he has no higher priority than the hostages' safe return. Tina Kraus, CBS News, Tel Aviv.
It was not clear just when the humanitarian aid to Gaza will start flowing or just how much there will be. Still ahead, another alcohol risk.
Researchers are studying the link between alcohol and breast cancer. I'm Natalie Brand with what scientists want women to know about the risk.
And what a new study shows about the connection between ADHD and the risk of dementia.
If there's one thing we could all use more of, it's time. And at Ford, we get it. That's why when you own a Ford vehicle, you get the...
Wow. There you are. Hair looser, but my head's in the same spot. Okay, now up. Cool. Okay.
Topping today's Health Watch, new research from Rutgers University shows adults with ADHD are 3 times more likely to develop dementia. The study followed 100,000 adults for nearly 2 decades, finding even when other risk factors are taken into account, adult ADHD is associated with significantly higher dementia risk. The findings suggest ADHD treatments might reduce that elevated risk. Researchers at Johns Hopkins are studying the link between breast cancer and alcohol. Drinking could increase the chances of cancer for women of all ages, but scientists are now trying to pinpoint why and exactly who is most at risk. Natalie Brand reports.
Jessica Budkera is living with metastatic breast cancer.
I would be lying to say that it's not something that you don't think about constantly.
Her first diagnosis came at age 37. Nearly 4 years later, she learned it had spread.
I started reevaluating any negative kind of vices that all of us have.
That includes alcohol, a known risk factor for cancer.
There are hundreds of studies that show there's a direct association between consumption of alcohol and breast cancer risk.
Dr. Cynthia Zano, a breast cancer survivor herself and researcher at Johns Hopkins, is trying to dig into why.
We're looking at how the alcohol alters our DNA. And the reason we're doing that is we'd like to know who's at risk.
The American Cancer Society says women who have 1 alcoholic drink a day have a 7 to 10% increase in risk. Up to 3 drinks a day, 20% higher risk. And while cancer prevention guidelines say it's best not to drink alcohol, it's recommended women limit their intake to no more than 1 drink a day.
Be mindful of how much you drink and how often. I want to raise awareness for my daughter and for other women, just to know that this is one thing that we can change.
Jessica Butcara now stocks her fridge with alternatives to alcohol and indulges in extreme moderation.
It's really just being intentional and deliberate and being a lot more aware.
Her cancer is responding to treatment, and she's taking every step possible to live a long, healthy life. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Washington.
Scientists say younger women might be especially vulnerable because breast tissue is most sensitive to environmental exposures from the start of menstruation to first pregnancy. And that is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, our pet vet on call.
Hi, I'm Dr. Eva Dude from Parsons Pet Hospital. Coming up, we're going to talk about whether or not dogs see color.
Plus, we have a weak cold front that is rolling through this evening. I'll have those details coming up. Well, it definitely turned out to be another nice one for us today. Temperatures fantastic, mid, some areas upper 70s during the afternoon, but a lot of clouds increasing over the past few hours due to a weak cold front that is shifting through, and with it we are getting the clouds, even a few random light little showers across the region, but not a big deal. But you can see the clouds increasing, these light little showers popping up on the radar. Again, very light from Erie to Chanute, Fort Scott. We track a little bit farther east, just north of Nevada, over toward El Dorado Springs, and these are going to sink off toward the south and to the east during the evening hours. So don't be surprised if you get a random shower or two. All right, temperature 74 in Stockton, 76 in Anderson. We have 72 in Pittsburgh. Nowata is sitting at 79 degrees. 7th, the range line looks pretty good. We're at 72, southerly winds at about 10. It's been breezy throughout the day. We've had gusty southerly winds all day long, but now they're starting to taper off a bit as this weak little front rolls through. So you see the northwesterly winds, southwesterly winds out ahead of it. Through the evening, again, a random shower, 65 by 8. We drop into the mid 50s by midnight, and it's this system that is rotating through. So most of the energy is going to shift into the Great Lakes, but with the front that trails back toward the south and to the west, we are getting a few random showers. But if we look back toward the west, not a whole bunch going on. So that's our weather as we go through the next couple days. It looks pretty good as we work into the weekend. All right, let me step you through time. We are going to fall back upper 40s by the time we head into the morning hours. By noon, a few clouds rotating through, mid 60s, and I think most of us will top out right around 70 or 71 degrees during the afternoon. As we go into tomorrow night, pretty much clear skies, kind of cool. We drop back into the upper 40s for overnight lows, and then as we go into Friday, warming up a little bit more, mid 70s, even pushing 80 once you get into our western county. So it is going to be a little bit cooler by the time we wake up tomorrow morning compared to what we are going to see by the time we head into Friday and also Saturday morning. All right, so here's your day planner for you tomorrow. 7 a.m. 49, 11 a.m. 63 up to 71 by 3 p.m. and then dropping off to about 64 by 7 p.m. Let's jump all the way into Friday evening. We have high school football, looks fantastic. Kickoff 68, 60 by the fourth quarter. So next couple days are really shaping up pretty good. When we will see some changes, we'll have to hold off until next week. Pretty big storm system. We get several chunks of energy is going to rotate in. So late Tuesday night into Wednesday, chances for showers, even thunderstorms, and possibly quite a bit cooler air working in by the time we head into next weekend, not this weekend, but next weekend. All right, 71 tomorrow, 76 Friday. Saturday looks great. A lot of clouds Sunday. Rain chances increasing early next week.
Boy, Saturday in particular is going to be great weather to get out and enjoy those maple leaves.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
You bet. Thanks, Doug. Coming up, a new study shows fatal crashes involving teenagers are going down. Topping today's Consumer Watch, Americans' net worth surged at a historic pace from 2019 to 2022. That's according to Federal Reserve data released today. The numbers are a reflection of the pandemic era's tremendous economic swings and the wealth generated from home ownership. Real median net worth swelled by a whopping 37% in 2022 from the pre-pandemic 2019 numbers. That's more than double the next largest increase on record. Job-based health insurance is a lot more expensive for companies and workers this year. Yearly premiums for family health insurance coverage at work soared to an average of nearly $24,000. That's according to KFF's Employer Health Benefits Survey and represents a 7% jump from last year. The average employee share of the annual premium came out to $6,575. That's a jump of almost $500 from last year, or nearly 8%. On our nation's roadways, teenagers are at the highest risk of being involved in a fatal crash. But Danya Bacchus reports on a new study showing that risk appears to be dropping.
Teenagers were behind the wheel of these two pickup trucks when they crashed in Oklahoma 10 months ago. Police say one truck swerved into the other, leading to a collision that killed a passenger. Crashes with young drivers are common, but new data shows signs of improvement. The study from the Governor's Highway Safety Association found fatal accidents involving drivers under 21 dropped 38% from 2002 to 2021. At the same time, deadly crashes among drivers 21 and older rose 8%.
We were very, very surprised.
Pam Shadle-Fisher authored the report.
We are absolutely encouraged by it, and we think we've been doing the right things to get there.
Fisher says a major reason for the drop is changes to how teens get a license. Many states now have graduated driver's license laws. They restrict teens from driving at certain times alone, like late at night. They also can limit how many other young people are in the car without an adult. Some laws ban teens from using electronic devices while driving, even hands-free. Another possible factor, many teens are waiting to get a license. Earlier this year, we talked to Catherine Franklin, who waited until she was 18.
I really was not interested in driving. I didn't really enjoy the idea of it.
The goal we're trying to get to is zero, plain and simple. We don't want any young person to be injured or killed in a crash.
Fisher believes more driving education programs and an expansion of graduated licenses can put young people on the road to fewer traffic deaths. Danya Bacchus, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Fatal traffic accidents among all drivers rose during the pandemic, but are now starting to fall. Our pet vet on call next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, an interview with a New York family whose son is being held hostage in Gaza. Then on KOAM News at 6, we're going to have more on a Carthage teacher donating an organ to a retired coworker. Plus, Missouri American Water donates $55,000 to the Joplin Fire Department, and the Neosho Wildcats might be moving athletic conferences. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. Our pets don't perceive the world exactly the way you and I do. Today's question for our pet vet on call: how much can dogs perceive color? Does it vary from one dog to another?
Well, although it has been shown that they don't see quite the intensity of color that we do, they have proven that dogs can see color. There's two types of cells in the back of your eye that see colors, the rods and cones. Rods see black and white, cones see color. And of the cones that, that dogs have, they figured out that they can see more shades of blues and yellows. But I believe that there are individuals that see much more vivid color, more color, or no color, just like people that are colorblind. I think as we learn more, we're going to change our mind.
Hey, we invite questions from anyone. If you have a question, you just send it to petvet@koamtv.com. Dr. Eva Dudek from the Parsons Pet Hospital answers a different question or brings us a fun fact every Wednesday right here on KOAM News at 5. You can also find answers to previous questions on our website. All right, let's check out our picks of the litter for the week. From the Joplin Humane Society, we have Gus Gus. a senior male beagle. Apparently so nice they named him twice. And from the Southeast Kansas Humane Society, we have Buck. The shelter says he's a 3-year-old St. Bernard. If you're looking for a pet, why not check out your local Humane Society? When I was a kid, I had a dog named Gus, also a hound. He was a basset hound. Loved that dog.
They bark a lot.
Beagles do.
Okay.
And bassets, yeah, they have this deep, resonant bark.
They're diggers too, aren't they?
Yeah, there's that. And they like to chase rabbits.
There you go.
But they're great, lovable dogs.
Yeah, all dogs are.
Yes, indeed.
All right, weather-wise, clouds tonight. May get a few random showers over the next couple hours, and then it looks pretty great for the next 3 or 4 days. 70s for highs, quite a bit of sunshine. We do get some changes next week with chances for showers and thunderstorms.
Yeah, we certainly need some showers.
We do.
Thanks for joining us. The CBS Evening News is next. And of course, we're going to be right back here for KOAM News at 6. See you then. Let's make it a great evening.